Hello, dear friends. This is your host, Ijaz Hussain. In this podcast, today we will discuss about the new law that has been implemented here in Romania. What are the conditions for the illegal immigrants to become legal? The ones who got illegal because of the employer's fault. Their contract was closed or their residence card was never renewed. Plus, what will be the conditions to hire foreigners for the companies, and what are the conditions for the foreigners to be eligible to apply for a work permit for a different company? How the people who are living in Romania, they will be able to change their employer. All these things we will discuss here today with immigration lawyer Andrea Mehmet. Hi Andrea,
Hi,
welcome to the
Jazz.
show.
Long time since I saw you.
Yes. So, it's widely spread over the internet these days that new law has been implemented.
Yes, it's true.
Many rumors are around the clock in Romania what this law contains.
Yes.
Everybody have their own perspective to discuss about the law. Everybody is talking the law is in their favor.
Because of the name, amnesty. You put amnesty and of course you believe this.
Yes. So, first of all, before we try to discuss the law, first of all, please briefly tell us that why did the government of Romania needed to change the existing law?
Yes. So I will try to be very brief towards this. On one hand, prior to the entering into force of this law, we as lawyers have already been doing a lot of activity with the help of the court to try to regularize the illegal stay of people. Because more than 90% of the people that were illegal were not illegal because of their own actions, but because of abusive Romanian employers. Abusive or unprofessional, meaning they trusted the employer to do the needful activity, to apply for their work permit or to renew the residence permit. But it turned out that the employers, due to different reasons, like they didn't met the conditions, or they didn't apply in due time, or they didn't know exactly how to do the procedure, or they didn't care. In most cases.
Or they had outstanding debts to the ANAF.
Or they had debt, or they had a fine, or they didn't go to the appointment. There are so many reasons. But in the end, the result was the same. That was the rejection of the work permit and thus the illegal stay of the foreigner. And there was no sanction for the Romanian employers in such cases. And what could a foreigner do in those cases? He could only have went to the immigration office and tell the immigration officer that I am illegal, please give me the return decision. But here, with the return decision, the law obliges the immigration office to verify and analyze each case in its own particularities. So the immigration officers cannot simply issue a return decision anytime they see a foreigner that's in illegal state. They actually have to analyze what made that person illegal. This is what the law says, but the immigration officers break this rule in more than 99%. They don't know how to interpret the law. They don't know how to analyze each case. They then don't want to take responsibility. And this is the reason why each time we as lawyers went with a foreigner at the immigration office to obtain return decision, even if it was not the fault of the immigrant, but the Romanian employer, the immigration officers granted return decision. They didn't analyze, they didn't care to verify what was happening. And this is illegal. And this is the reason why in more than 90% of the cases that we went in court, we won, because the courts gave us right. The law says clearly you have to analyze and you have to issue return decision only if necessary, and if the employee was not to blame for the illegal stay, then the return decision should not have been granted. And you need to think more about the consequences of, okay, that person has been illegal for more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years here in Romania, but the law doesn't allow him to work. Who cares about where is he staying, what is he eating, how he makes money, not only for him to survive here in a foreign country, but also how he can send money back home. So nobody cared about this. But we had a pleasant surprise with the courts where more than 90% they gave us 100% approval on the decisions that they issued. However, there were also a small percentage of judges that they didn't analyze together with the prosecutor. Prosecutors don't know the law, don't analyze it. So they just simply say illegal, go back home. Return decision is correct. It's like they are like parrots, nothing else. They don't think by themselves. They don't look at the law in its spirit. But here also it is clearly mentioned that together with the principle of proportionality and together with the article from the ordinance that governs the rules for foreigners, they have to analyze. And if the return decision is not justified, it is annulled.
Yes.
So for these reasons, we have started winning more and more cases against immigration. In comparison to other professionals, we didn't charge immigration officers the judicial expenses. People didn't want to go against the immigration offices to charge money as well, because this would have led to a blockage. But on the market, there are so many other colleagues, lawyers, that are charging the immigration offices lots and lots of money that they win in court cases. So it creates blockages because of the I don't want to say incompetence. They don't care and they don't want to take responsibility. It's just simply as this. And I know it's hard to put this on camera, but this is the truth. And for this reason, because also they didn't have the capacity to monitor everyone that's illegal, they had to make new rules that are close to actually impossible rules. And we'll get to that.
We will get to that. Another question that bothers, I'm sure that if it bothers me, it bothers every foreign worker who comes here in Romania. Why there is a period of that 90 days that everybody talks about?
For the change of employer?
Yes. For example, why it should be 90 days? If a person is illegal, not illegal, sorry. If a person leaves job, why he have to apply physically?
I have a better question. If once a foreigner comes in Romania and is enrolled in the labor inspectorate with labor contract, he is equal to a Romanian or European citizen.
Yes.
But if
with the rights,
with the same rights,
work rights,
of course. No, I'm talking in theory. This is the law. He says once he has a labor contract, he is equal to a Romanian or a non-European in terms of the rights, labor contract code and so on. If he is equal, why don't you let him sign an offer and apply for a new work permit with exchange of employer while he's already working at that particular employer? Because now we Romanians, while I'm working at a company, I can easily sign a new offer and I terminate today with this employer and tomorrow I sign with the new employer. I don't have any gap in terms of contributions, in terms of non-working days, So this should apply to the foreigners as well, meaning they should be able to start the process for the work permit exchange of employer while they are still working, because this would not put them in a vulnerable state without a contract, without being illegal, without and this would burden less the government, the state. But you know what's the problem? The laws are made by people that don't understand. They are not practitioners. They don't even know what's on the market, on the reality. They just simply play with words. If you ask them amnesty, this is the worst word that they could have used. But this is what happens when the unprofessional and unqualified people make laws. They create even more chaos. This is my opinion.
No, for example, it's very simple situation. If I am a foreigner here in Romania, I give my papers after the termination of a contract with the first employer. I gave my papers to a the second company. That company fails to get my papers. My state cannot become legal anymore because that guy took more than 90 days to process my papers.
Yes, but here...
What is the fault of that guy? They should have changed this thing from long time, that if it was not your fault, you find another employer.
Actually, there is a provision that not that many people know. And there is a 5 days deadline after the rejection of the work permit because of the company, when the employee, the foreigner or the company can reapply for the work permit. But this deadline of 5 days can create, on one hand, it is not known for by many people,
Yes.
even by professionals. I think 99 of the professionals on the market don't know
I
about
never
this.
heard of this.
This is something that I was actually ashamed when I heard initially, because I didn't know as a professional about this deadline. But this deadline was communicated to us, to one of my colleagues, when she was in immigration office by one of the officers, and it is true. In practice, if you have the rejection of the work permit due to the employer, you can reapply in the 5 days gap with a new work permit request, and that would allow the foreigner not remain legal. However, this is a very short time.
Very short
Why?
time. For
Because, sorry to interrupt, but the deadline on one hand it is not known. On the other hand, it is too short. Why it is too short? Because if the company that failed to obtain the work permit initially didn't meet the conditions at the point when they can reapply, basically it creates nonsense, because that would mean that the employee, the foreigner, should have another company on its pocket that in case of the first company doesn't apply, the other one in 5 days should apply for it.
But-
It's a nonsense.
Yes, because in 5 days cannot prepare the papers. For example,
Exactly.
AJOFME, like chômage,
Exactly.
cannot be ready in 5 days.
Actually, we managed to do this for a very, very small number of cases, but we were prepared in advance with this. But I'm telling you, the 3 months gap that you are saying, it's considered to be reasonable in theory. In practice, because the platform is, I think they bought it from Temu, my opinion, because it's working very, very, very bad. It's the worst app that I have ever seen. It's always changing, no transparency, no public information. Each time it surprises you with different documents that you need to apply or different steps. And now it's not working but not now. It's not working from January. I think it's you can't make appointments. Actually, did you see on Facebook the immigration office that puts to
Yes.
come to help the citizens? We've put 2 spots in Romania where you can apply with work permit files, and they are in Maramureș and Craiova, and there are only two files that
Two
you
files
can
only.
apply.
Yes.
And I think it's hilarious to do this. So this is how it's working.
And one more thing, many professionals will agree with me, the ones who are working in this domain with the work permits agencies or the companies. For example, I applied a work permit in January. I got the point with all the documents valid
Yes.
in January. Then appointment that I got, it is in April.
Yes.
As an example, after 3
Okay.
months. Then I have to go with the new set of papers, those
Yes.
were valid at that point.
I know.
So we have to prepare. Every professional, every company or anybody who is working in this domain has to prepare the files twice.
Because you know why? Because the real intention is not to help companies have foreign employees. The intention is to limit employers to have foreign employees, because the rules, the app, the officers, they don't come in reach of helping the Romanian companies that actually need foreign workers. They only come to sanction the steps, sanction the lack of documents. They create a lot of blockages, formalities. I'm not saying it should not be hard, this process, but it should be more transparent how it is.
Yes.
You have to let the companies prepare themselves for such a change. Now, what is happening is that Romania is soon actually today, 1st of May, the summer season will start. All the hotels, all the restaurants, they are starting to have more and more activity. And also in construction and in other domains, companies need workers, but now they are blocked. They are
Exactly.
not blocked only by the fiscality that increased lot the taxes, but also by the lack of the people to work. Who will work? Romanians. Romanians are
Tuturor.
very lazy lately. So, and also we have to be honest, Romanians won't do the low type of work. Even if they complain that Bolt, Glovo, delivery boys took their jobs, did you see any Romanian on the street when it was heavily raining? I didn't see any. So they don't want to work. They just say that they took our jobs,
Yes.
but you don't see them in look of a job.
I give you an example. Whenever there is a public holiday, who are working in Romania?
Exactly.
And there are public holidays almost every month.
But it's the same. Romanians do the same when they go to Spain, Italy, Portugal, but they forget. So it's the same. There is no difference. There is no difference. It's just a frustration that in their own country, and I can relate to this, that in your own country, you cannot work any type of job and have a decent life. This is true, and this is why they are frustrated.
Yes. So we finish this
Yes.
this video here. The new law that is implemented, we will discuss in our next video.
Of course.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Real Ijaz Hussain, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.